Well, hello there, 3 people watching this video. I get to brag right now because I recently went to New Orleans, the place you go if you want to see your parent/guardian drunk. But in all seriousness, it was great. I ate great food, I saw great jazz, and I learned a bunch of cool stuff. One of those cool things was the story of a human named Marie Laveau, who's also a voodoo queen. Okay, she wasn't actually a voodoo queen unless you ask the conspiracy theorists. She did know a lot, though, because she had a giant network of informants in New Orleans, like huge, humongous. Keep in mind while you're watching this video that 1, I am 10, and 2, this is mostly from memory, so please don't get mad at me for getting stuff wrong because I'm almost sure that most of this is correct. Anyway, she was mostly responsible for blending Catholicism and voodoo to make it more accessible to the Catholics of New Orleans. It all started with her first marriage. I say first because she was actually married twice, but I'm going to skim over most of the non-voodoo related stuff. She was married to a man named Jacques Paris, or Paris, I don't know how to pronounce it. They began growing distant, and she started to call herself the Widow Paris, in a "you're dead to me" kind of way. Then, you know what happened to Jacques? He died, which made her a literal Widow Paris, or Paris, I don't know. So, obviously, the only logical explanation is that she must be a voodoo queen who can tell the future. She later became a hairdresser because everyone knows that you tell, all the gossip to your hairdresser, oh my god. Anyway, here's an example. So, take this situation. Mrs. Madsen goes to her hairdresser, Marie Laveau, and they're chatting, and Mrs. Madsen tells Marie that she thinks that her husband is cheating on her. So, Marie tells Miss Madsen to make a voodoo doll, take a piece of her husband's hair, stuff it in the doll, take a piece of her husband's clothing, wrap it around the doll, and then to bury the doll near him, and then to spin around 3 times and jump on 1 foot, and your husband will stop cheating. Then, later, Miss Laura comes to get her hair done, and she says, "I have a new boyfriend, but I think that he might be married to Miss Madsen." So Marie Laveau tells her, "Stop!" So, Miss Madsen's husband did stop cheating. I know this is not the best example, but you get how it works. She built credibility this way and developed a very large network of informants. She became famous as the Voodoo Queen of New Orleans. She later died, according to Wikipedia, of natural causes. She is still famous to this day. She is highly featured in the Voodoo Museum, which I went to in New Orleans, and lots of people visit her grave every day. And many people visit her faux graves that conspiracy theorists say her body was snuck into in the middle of the night. And it's true. No, just kidding. If you go to her graves, there are a lot of pairs of 3 X's. Is that the right thing? 3s. X's in 3s. I don't know. From people who make sacrifices to her and spin around and hop on 1 foot. Even to this day, her spirit definitely lives on. Thanks for watching. If you're in New Orleans, you should check out 2 Chicks Tours and get a tour of the St. Paul Cemetery. That's where I learned all of this. There's a bunch of interesting stuff to see. Although, if you can only see one thing, I recommend getting reservations and going to Preservation Hall. It really is so incredible. They play great jazz. Maybe someday I'll make a video about my trip, but who knows. I'll include a link in the description to 2 Chicks Tours, by the way. I'd also like to thank school and tennis practice, which made it so that it took me 1 month to make this video, even though I actually only spent about 3 days of work on it. Thanks, guys. Anyway, I hope that the next video won't take a month to make. Please subscribe, and goodbye.